So I just got out of the doctor's office and I have been cleared to not have to come back again for another appointment for my concussion. I'm excited that I don't have to go back. I'm also excited that some of my daily life things will be returning to normal. Since I'm in town, I dropped our middle son off for Taekwondo because our oldest fractured his leg. And so now I'm going to run into the Dollar General I'm going to run into Dollar Tree so I can get some little bags because we are making homemade bouncy balls for a 4-H Secret Santa thing. So for this 4-H Secret Santa thing, we're required to bring 10 items per 4-H member or a cap of 25 per family. We have 3 members in our family, so I have to come up with 25 items. So we're gonna make homemade bouncy balls. All the items are supposed to be homemade and priced so that they could go very affordably to families. It's meant to be kind of like a craft sale type thing. So I'm gonna go try to find some bags that we can put our homemade bouncy balls in. So I looked around for a little bit and I found these small little containers that are like for condiments and things like that. And I think they will absolutely work perfect. They come in packs of 10. So I am going to have to get 3 packs to meet our quota, but that's okay. All right, so I was able to find some small containers that we can stick our homemade bouncy balls into. I think I'm gonna go ahead and make copies of like directions for them too, so that if parents get them and they've kind of gone flat on one side, they know how to bring them back to life, so to speak. So that will be part of our afternoon process now. So the recipes for these homemade bouncy balls I found on Pinterest actually is just the reason that I chose it is because it had all ingredients that I have right at home. So I did have to go and buy some Elmer's glue or just any glue, but I had food coloring and cornstarch and borax in my house already. So these were a lot of ingredients that were already on hand. So I was able to just use the supplies that I already had, except for the glue that I had to go buy. Okay, so for these bouncy balls, we have to make 25 items for this Santa thing. And so I have to make 25 bouncy balls. So what I'm going to try to do first is make one and see if it's something that we can mass create, at which point I will add all the stuff together and try to make a huge amount, but otherwise we're going to have to make them one at a time. We'll see how this goes. So I decided initially when I was getting started that I was going to try to make that first bouncy ball by myself so that I could keep the boys fully engaged when it came time to make the rest of the bouncy balls. So for this, I literally just took the single version of the recipe to make what I thought would be one bouncy ball. It ended up being 2. We probably could have made it into 3. So, like I said, I got this recipe off of Pinterest. It's just 1 tablespoon of cornstarch with 2 tablespoons of glue, and you mix it up until it forms a nice gooey mixture, and the cornstarch is all mixed in. And then I added a few drops of food coloring, whichever color that you want. And then you are going to take that gooey mixture and drop it into it's a half a cup of water with, I believe it was 1 tablespoon of borax. I'll include the link to the recipe in the show notes so that you can see that. And then you just kind of work it with your hands until it's no longer gluey, is what I'm going to say. And I know gluey probably isn't a word, but you can tell there's a texture difference that definitely takes shape. And that was what I found. The biggest issue we had was that the borax didn't dissolve very well in just warm water. So we actually ended up starting to put it as really, really hot water or microwaving it. And I went ahead and just wrote homemade bouncy ball rolling hands to reshape on each of the cups so that anybody who got these would know how they could reshape them if they went flat on one side. So the recipe directions did say that you could use latex or rubber gloves to help protect your hands. The borax in the water definitely dries out your hands as you go. A little bit later in the video, you'll hear my son complaining about how it felt like his hands were cracking a little bit. I started off trying to use them, but to be honest, it didn't allow the balls to take shape quite the way that they were supposed to. I couldn't roll them in my hands because I wasn't getting enough friction like you do when you use your hands themselves. Basically, what you're doing here is you're just working it so that you can get the glue to get exposure to the borax so that it can have the chemical reaction and change from the liquid state to more of that firm bouncy balls texture that you need. So once I knew that the process worked out well, I went ahead and quadrupled the recipe so that we could make a mass amount of bouncy balls. I brought in the boys to help. I made the mixture and then dropped it into the borax. And because I didn't want them working in the borax water directly, I just gave them the bouncy balls to work with after they had already been submerged and started to take shape. So then their job was to roll them and roll them and roll them so that they would stay in that nice round form. The more you worked with these, the more firm they got. So it was a really good job for them. The kids actually had a ton of fun making these. They thought it was something that was pretty cool, definitely different for us to do. I think 25 is about all we could ever make in a given day. The whole process from start to finish for us took us about 41 minutes to make 25 bouncy balls. I think we technically had 27 at the end. My kids kept a couple to play with themselves.
Look at mine. Go for it. Wicked. That looks really good. How big that is. 16 or 24? No. 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 25, 26, 27, 28.
We made too many.
Yeah, we did.
Alright, wait, I keep this one.
Okay, you gotta shape them though. Let's get them all
I keep
done.
this one.
You gotta get them done first.
How many are we supposed to do?
Right now there's enough, we have 25, so you guys have enough for our quota, plus you each get one.
I call this one.
I will say that if you make a large batch, you should change out your borax solution occasionally. It helps to keep things moving along.
Solid. We gotta reshape some of those.
Yeah, like all the greens. A couple of the yellows. Since we never finally know the method.
It takes a little bit to figure it out, but that's not terrible, is it?
Fingers hurt afterwards.
When we were done, we bagged them all up so that I could take them to the event. So we got the bouncy balls done. It was pretty fun. And now we are going to take them into town and drop them off. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video, and go ahead and try to make some homemade bouncy balls yourself to see what you think of it. See you next time.